Okay, so we are here at the How Do I Do This podcast with Troy. Okay, so I'm excited to talk to Troy today because there's so much I want to explore from your story. So on this podcast, one of the things that's really important to me is we're really talking to people about how did you do it, right? So you'll have conversations with people and they're like, yeah, you just believe in yourself, trust in yourself. But no one's telling you like, no, this is the email I sent. This is who I talked to. Like, this is how you craft a partnership. Like, I really want people to have tangible insights to how to do something, right? And so that's what we're going to be exploring today. But the thing that's so exciting about you, like we had a chance to talk about offline, is that you are a serial entrepreneur. And the business that you have now, the Modern
House Coffee Shop.
Modern House Coffee. You know I was going to say it backwards, right? Like,
well, you know what? It's Modern House Coffee Shop, but then we started, it's not incorporated yet, but we started a roasting company too. It's called Modern Coffee.
Okay. Yeah. She's going to take my interview. That's cool. I was going to get there. But no, so that's exciting. So not only did you start the shop, now you also have a roast.
Yeah.
But this was not even your jam. Like, you just started drinking coffee.
Just started drinking coffee, so I'm
as you sip. I'm done with you, right? So you just started drinking coffee, but you originally went to aeronautical school.
Yeah.
I'm undone. So okay, so tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say, even from a high school, student, I always worked in sales. You know what I mean? I always had that urge of entrepreneurship, business, and all that kind of stuff. So I knew what lane I wanted to be in. I just didn't know how to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so, I'm navigating my way. You married at 20. You know what I'm saying? So now I got to go get a real job. I got to provide. You know, all that kind of good stuff. And so, but at the same time, I still knew I needed to end up in being in business. At 19 years old, I started managing a Sprint store.
Okay.
So I worked at Radio Shack also getting sales. And then when I left those two, I went to Dick's Sporting Goods and worked for sales and stuff like that too. So around when I hit about 22 or so, my dad, he worked in aviation, and that's how I kind of got into it. So I've been around aviation my whole life. You know what I mean? Especially, private corporate aviation.
Okay.
And so once I hit about 22 years old and stuff, and so he was like, hey, yo, he seen I was struggling, you know what I'm saying? He's like, let me show you something, what you think about this? And so he ended up starting a company called Clean Flight. And so I was training, working up under him. And then it got to a point that I was actually running everything, employees, management, billing, invoicing, everything, accounts payable, And so I was like, okay, hey, I ain't gonna get too far. And I was like, pay raise, right?
Right. I love you, Daddy, but I'm out here running these things. Okay, yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we need to get to a point that, and so, I had to do what I had to do as a man. You know what I'm saying? And as a husband and stuff. And so it caused a friction between me and my dad at first. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm sure.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I think he respects it. And so now our relationship is a lot better now.
Gotcha.
Just because it's like, I think as fathers, it's hard for us to see our child or our son as a man. You know what I'm saying? And then it was just like, he's grown, he's married, but at the same time, his responsibilities ain't that much. You know what I'm saying?
You all right.
Especially when I'm giving you a house rent free.
Okay, I can see how Dad was kind of beefing you at first. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
So he gave us one of his rental houses, and we was rent free. We just
like, listen, bro, I done gave you my rental house. I done brought you to my business.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Audacity of this kid.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So he definitely helped me put me on my feet, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so what I did from there was I took some of that training and I started doing some of the stuff he was doing, but then I started branching more into the different sectors of aviation for as the charter jets and stuff like that. So I would work crazy hours, 365 days a year.
Wow.
If a charter company called me, I have keys to their jets, I will literally stop what I'm doing and go out there and go service them. That's part of the partnership that I have with them. And so it's like, hey, you got to be here on demand. And it's like, okay, cool. As long as you pay me right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And they do. And so from there, I was like, okay, boom, sorry, Dad, got to go. You know what I'm saying? So I started my own company, Aircraft Cleaning Solutions.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so with Aircraft Cleaning Solutions, is it servicing these by just cleaning? You said maintenance, so is it fixing them? Like, what are the services?
So it's in the maintenance branch, right?
Okay.
But it's not actually fixing on the airplane. So my job is I make sure I'm like different things in the airplane, right? So within the airplane, especially a small jet, any plane really, anything like specifically can damage an airplane. But then also too, if you alter it a little bit, can be something so magnitude so high that it can throw off the aerodynamics of the airplane.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's making sure that if I see something, tell the maintenance guy, tell the chief pilot. The chief pilot is the one who flies the airplane, but he manages that whole flight department. You know what I'm
Got you.
saying?
Got you.
And so just making sure that they're aware of everything that I see, you know what I'm saying? Because they not doing it, they hired me to do it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
just like, okay, checklist, boom. I need to let him know about that.
Got
You know,
you.
some screws loose that I see that's holding the engine cover. You know what I'm saying? If I got a screwdriver, I just go, you know.
Got you.
But if not, you know, such and such, you know, you need to handle that.
That's so interesting to me. So you pretty much, you said you kind of were in these different places where you were dealing with sales. So you understood that, and Dad brought you in on his thing, and he was like, "Okay, pops, I appreciate that." You know what I'm saying? But I found a new way that I want to get. So you went ahead and you started your own business from aviation.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so you grew that. How long have you had that business?
15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
15 years. Okay, so you did that for 15 years, and then one day, Troy woke up and said, I'm going to start a coffee shop. Okay, Troy. Okay, you got to give me some backstory because I think sometimes when people are getting ready to start something, we can get so caught up and we feel like we can only be one thing, right? And I think that has always been where I have personally found myself in a great position because you can't put me in no box.
Yeah.
I do the.
You know what I'm saying? Every time that's my thing. Don't put
the
me in no
things
box.
that I do are the things that I love to do.
Right.
And so I look at my skill set and I figure out how can I monetize that? How can I do more of that? If I'm singing one day, that's fine. I'm a consultant the next because we have so many skills on the inside of us.
Right.
But sometimes we get a little nervous when there's an opportunity to pivot. And I wouldn't even say pivot because you still have the aircraft cleaning company, right?
Yeah.
But to do something else, to add something else to your repertoire. So, like, what was that like? So, it's like, okay, I got this aircraft cleaning up 15 years. I'm out here in these streets. And now it's like, okay, you know what? Like,
well, that knowledge was able to help me be successful into starting a Modern House coffee shop. You know what I mean?
Okay, tell me more.
So, you know, what are the first steps that I need to do? You know, I was incorporated before I did anything.
With Modern House?
Yeah, with Modern House before I had online sales, before, you know, anything. I just, you know, I was already incorporated. I knew what I needed to go do. You know?
I got a question. Let's go back. So when you talk about the aircraft cleaning service, right? So you kind of already had the knowledge that this was an industry. You were exposed to that, right?
Yeah.
So then when you decided to go ahead and make it into a business, what did you do? Did you start the LLC process like you said with the coffee shop? Did you incorporate it first? Most people tell you come up with a business plan. Like when you decided to branch off and start the cleaning service, like what did that process look like?
That process, it was no business plan. And honestly, because I was already in the industry. You know what I'm saying? I was already running it. I knew what was going on. And I knew the things that, you know, my dad company didn't do. You know what I'm saying? And so not to be so, excuse me, like competitive against my dad, right? You know what I'm saying? So like
low key, it was like real live market analysis. Like you were able to kind of do like a market analysis, like understand a competitive research because you were in a space.
Right.
And I mean, technically he was part of your competition.
I mean, he still is part of my competition.
I love that for y'all. That is so interesting. I'm glad y'all good now though.
We good. And the thing is that we still work together. You know,
I love that.
It's a large job. Like literally yesterday he's like, hey, I got this job. I would need your help on. I was like, okay. You know, but it wasn't the point that I didn't want to do it. It was just at the point that it's like, damn, I'm so busy right now. I'm barely hanging on. You know,
yeah.
You know, but this is a large corporate jet. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like I need to make sure that he keeps that contract. You know what I'm saying?
I love that. Yeah.
So let me help him out. So.
Yeah. So okay, so it's like, okay, cool. I already kind of had insight into what it looked like. So did you start an LLC?
I didn't.
Okay, what you do?
I was sole proprietor at first. And so then
how were you able to get those contracts though? Because sometimes, and so being pretty much when we say sole proprietor, it's like I'm not operating under an EIN, under an LLC. I'm coming as Troy. Right? And people are just paying Troy. People are not paying me as a contractor, as an EIN, like they're paying me as an individual. Right? So that's what sole prop means. So But did that cause you any issues with getting contracts? Because sometimes
No, because see, here it depends on what business you're in and the lane that I was in, right? I'm in a word of mouth business and a very niche that people has to trust you that you know what
Yeah.
you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And so I've been, in this industry for so long, people know, oh, that's Troy Jr. That's, that's Troy's son. He's doing it on his own now. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to know what you're doing when you're touching $30 million airplanes. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And so it's not like people just going to pick up the phone and call this guy because he details cars. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to work that way.
Got you.
Yeah. So, but to go back on, I did later get my S corp.
Okay.
Yeah. So instead of getting an LLC and all that other good stuff, and that was off of the recommendations from my accountant.
Okay, I was gonna say, what made you do an S corp over an LLC, and tell us what an S corp is, because again, we ain't talking over nobody head, right?
Yeah.
So why did he recommend you to do an S corp instead of an LLC?
Tax reasons, because he was like, you paying double taxes right now, right?
If you do your LLC,
well,
or if you were just could stay the sole proprietor.
I stayed the sole proprietor. I was already paying two different taxes.
Gotcha.
Tax brackets.
Gotcha.
So he was like, well, he broke it down to me. He was like, with the S corp now, you'll just have to pay the corporation taxes. So that way it's just one tax fee instead of, and then also too for myself, like, I pay taxes. Oh, but
don't get nervous. You look like you got nervous.
Like I pay taxes.
Come on, Trump. You got nervous.
No, I wish I was there. I need to get there, right? That's what I'm working on. You know what I'm saying?
Wait a minute now. You know, black people with taxes, we start clinching up a little bit.
I need to be Robert Kiyosaki. You know, the rich don't pay taxes. That's what we trying to get to, right? But then at the same time, they have so much debt that they accumulate, and so they just write it off as a loss. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a balance on where do you want to go. You know, do you want all that debt, or do you want to be debt free and all that other good stuff? Yeah. So it's really
just depends on what your plan is. Okay. Yeah. So he told you. So you went ahead, you branched off, you started the S corp. You didn't necessarily need a business plan because you looked at what currently didn't exist in the business that you were operating in, and you just decided to provide those services. But it worked for you because there was always you were already kind of in that referral pipeline. People knew you, they knew you were skilled, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. So I had to just go back because I wanted to make sure we knew how you started that. So you're doing this for 15 years, and then you say, I'm starting a coffee shop and I'm about to get a roast because I'm that dude. Okay, so where did it come from? Like, where was the idea? Like, what made you do that?
And this coffee was nothing but God, man. Okay. I thank people. I thank God all the time. But I just, be so happy that I said yes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I just said yes. And then it got me all to this point here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't received no money, recruiting, none of that. But it's because it's been going steadily back into the company. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
And, we've been open 5 months now. Next month, we'll be in our 6th month. So I'm really happy about that. You know
Congratulations. That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
It's a huge deal.
Especially somebody who never operated, in a coffee shop, never even stepped foot in a coffee shop. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I did anything coffee, it was just to meet somebody and go. I'd be like, hey, yeah, I got a smoothie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know nothing about this lingo and all. I don't know that, and it's not tasty for me. So,
what's tasty now?
Oh, man, I love it.
You love it, right? You got
latte.
Latte, baby. Latte. Okay, so look, though, Troy.
I'm holla at the Modern House Coffee Shop. We on 422 6th Avenue South.
I am not... Yes, go to Modern Coffee with the latte. And we're going to talk about this, too, because this is lit. We're going to get there. Yeah. So... Bong. So I believe in Jesus Cristo as well. Love Jesus. So I know you said this was a God idea, but I need you to tell me how, where. Like, did you know that you wanted to have? Was it like, okay, I was having a conversation with somebody and boom, it hit me like that's a good idea? Like, because this was not in your wheelhouse. Was it a dream? Tell us.
So I heard coffee. I just heard the word coffee. And from there, I was like, coffee, okay, cool. So then I started visiting different coffee shops. Okay. And then I started seeing the vibes in different ones. I was like, oh, this coffee shop thing kind of cool. Yeah. Like, I like coffee shops, you know what I'm saying? And then, so I was like, I'm going to do a coffee shop. So then I was like, okay, cool. Where you going to put it at? Then I'm like thinking I'm going around, I'm driving around, me and my godmom, she called it Ryan Truck. Okay. Miss Diane. Okay. Robertson. And she was like, oh no, she didn't say nothing. But we was just driving around in Inslee downtown, and so I was like, I'm gonna put it downtown Inslee,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was stuck downtown Inslee. That's where it's gonna be at. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna help revitalize downtown
Yeah.
Inslee, Modern House Coffee Shop. That's what we gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
And then later, it was like nonprofit. It's like, man, I don't know nothing about that God.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
go on, coffee shop for profit.
Right.
You know what
For
I'm saying? For
profit.
profit.
Right.
And so I heard nonprofit again, and I heard nonprofit while serving at the care center. And when I was serving, I said nonprofit. I said hiring people experiencing homelessness. And then boom, from there I was stuck on it. And I was like, I'm not moving from that.
Yeah.
Coffee shop, nonprofit, we hiring people experiencing homelessness. And so but then the concept was I wouldn't hire nobody unless they had to be homeless. Then I started working through things, talking with people helping me out, my logic model and all this. How is that gonna look? And it's like, ooh, I do need to think about that, don't I?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because the business needs to operate. And sometimes with people who experience homelessness, they have other things going on.
Yeah.
They may be addicted. They don't have transportation. They're just inconsistent until we kind of help them build stability.
For
You know what
sure.
I'm saying?
For sure.
And so I was like, okay, yeah, so I do need to, hire somebody who's not experiencing homelessness, and then who has experience in coffee. Been a barista for X amount of years, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so that's when I was like, yeah. You want to hire people who knows more than you in this sector. And then that's also that came with the partnership and stuff like that for us in the coffee.
Got you. Okay, so how did you go about, so we got the vision. So we know God was speaking to you in words. So I think, too, that's another good point, to follow that voice, that knowing. For us, it's like, I know that that's the voice of the Holy Spirit, right? He's giving me instructions. Some people call it different things. However, when you kind of get those different unctions or nudges, it's important to follow those. I remember hearing one time, a lot of times we're like, ooh, I need some money, I need this, but a lot of our provision and what we're looking for is wrapped up inside of our imagination, the ideas that we have. And so, people, it's already in you. People be like, man, I thought about that. I was gonna do that first. But we talking about effort. You know what I'm saying? Execution. You can't copyright no just idea. You gotta do something, So I think that's a good point to also just to kind of sit in for a little bit is following that. When you heard that, you didn't just let it be a fleeting thought. I was like, oh, that's weird. I don't even like coffee. Next. You sat with that. You thought about that. You know what I mean? And you allowed it to continue to guide you to a point. So that's interesting. So, okay, you have this vision. I want to support people who are experiencing homelessness. You felt led to go ahead and start a nonprofit. So there's this period, though. There is acquiring the building. So there's that part. How do you navigate a lease? And all the insurances that come with that. And then we're talking about, too, okay, I got to hire people. I got to actually form a nonprofit, a functioning 501c3.
Right, and board members.
Right. And then I also have to find the right partners. So, because again, I hate when I'm listening to something, I'm like, but wait a minute now. What happened between here and here? Right? So, okay. So let's talk through, you had to find a building. You was like, first Inslee was your jam.
Yeah, and I had found a building. I found somebody who was going to help me build it out, all that good stuff.
Okay.
And then it just, money situations kind of deterred that from, that person who owned the building. And so then it was like a fight amongst, this person and this organization.
Okay.
And I was in the middle, and I was like, wait a minute,
there was a little tension there.
What do I need to do? So I stepped back, and so I finally stopped pushing, you know what I'm saying? And then I was like, okay, let me find somewhere else to go. And what's crazy is when I think about it now is that I'm glad I made the decision to step back and then go look around in Titusville, because we own that building.
Okay.
I thought about it. And
you gonna throw that in there because we own it. I got that. I love that for you. I love that.
But we could have put it here in Woodland.
Okay.
Yeah, we could have. Okay. I had met with I just throw her name, Carol Butler.
Okay.
So Goodrich Foundation.
Okay.
And so I met with her. And I was actually trying to get that Goodrich money over there to Inslee. And she was like, no, we focusing on Woodland. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, well, all right, next person.
Yeah.
And I was like, then Mashonda Taylor. And then, she was recruiting, and I was like, I think about it, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It was all right though. But
Yeah.
I just, you know what I'm saying? But,
Yeah. But Titusville is where you found the home, and it was the best.
On my dad's side is from Titusville.
Okay.
And so I didn't even know all of that stuff until, I really started, until we acquired the property. And then I started just asking questions and stuff. And so my grandfather, my grandfather, I didn't know about my great-grandfather because we visit my granddad all the time over there. And so then my dad ended up getting a house from my granddad. And then me and my wife, we stayed in that house for 9 years when we first got married.
Yeah.
And so now my dad, he sold his property and he lives in the house now.
So you had roots where you were able to kind of get started. So you got the building. There's insurances you have to get. There is navigating, I would say the lease, but the purchase of the property.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so most people are going to ask, which is usually a hang up, how do you fund that? Was it partnerships? Was it, I'm about to go? Because now there's so many conversations around access to capital. A lot of business owners are being told, like, hey, go to the bank. It's like, well, first of all,
you
know what I'm saying?
To no bank, and you ain't, you know what I'm saying? If your business ain't been functioning for 2 years or more, ain't no bank for that.
You can't show the income and the outgoing, like, you know what I mean? So people are gonna say, okay, I want to start a coffee shop, or I want to do something that requires a physical location. If I'm not leasing, and then I too want to also let people know, like, don't be so afraid to lease. It's no different than you paying rent on your apartment or a mortgage on your house, right? You just got to know how much it costs, and you have to make sure that your business model has revenue generating. So there's an option to lease a building, but you purchased your building. So what was the process to get the funds to do that? So I'm assuming it wasn't a bank.
No.
Was it partnerships? Was it kind of saving money? What does that look like?
It was partnerships, and then it was also because we did start in that pandemic, and because I had a business, there was some money that I was able to get throughout that process.
Listen, the panini, if you did it right, the panini, like it was a lot of stuff going on. If you were paying attention, and you were set, if you were structured, if you just had an EIN, my God, today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, you were able to be able to do so, because that's how we were able to get started with our building.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, you already know firsthand. So I mean,
look for that money.
That's all it was. Go look for that money. And then for us, like with our equipment and stuff like that, also during that pandemic, unfortunately, George Floyd lost his life to the police department.
He was murdered.
He was murdered. You know what I'm saying? And so one of the great things that the Community Foundation did was they was like, yo, we need to find Black organizations. And Zandra Jones, shout out to
Zandra, hey girl.
Hey, appreciate you. I love you.
Same. I love you, girl.
And so she was a big advocate for what we was doing.
Yeah.
And so they had something in operations and stuff. And so I applied for the grant for $25K. Boom, we got it. And so that covered all of our equipment. I mean, I'm talking about real top-notch coffee espresso machines, $15,000 worth that we ended up paying $10,000 for, just with the favor of God. $1,500 grinder, espresso grinder, batch, so much other stuff that we was able to do with that money. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And so
it sounds like one of the things too, when we're starting something, we have to get creative in how we're looking at funding. So sometimes you might be able to go to. You might be able to go the traditional route where you go to a bank. Sometimes you might have to leverage business credit. I know that's a thing I talk to people a lot about. I know culturally there's this thing about debt, and I'm not a proponent of acquiring a lot of debt, but if I have to use somebody else's money to get my stuff off the ground, I'm going to do that because I know I'm actively participating in revenue generating activities, right?
Right.
So there's leveraging business credit. There's grants out here, and there's still some residual of people looking to support businesses of a certain demographic, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, but having your stuff, you had to be structured. You had to at least, and you said the first thing you did was you went ahead and you got incorporated. So there were some things you had in place in order to take advantage of the resources, because people love good ideas, but I can't give no money to that.
Yep.
Right? You have to show me that you've put some structure behind something of what you're doing. And then based on your background in sales, now that I can show you a structure, now I can sell you on my idea.
Right.
I can show you even before I got the money.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all, let me tell y'all what we about to do, right?
Right,
so there's
right,
another
right,
part of it of like being able to articulate your vision in such a way where people are willing to invest in you early or give money early because they could see where you're trying to go.
Right.
But that comes from you being prepared and having your stuff together.
Yeah. Write it down, make it plain.
Write it down, make it plain. Okay, so we're in the building. This is pretty amazing. So one of the things we had a chance to talk about is now you're managing 2 businesses, right? So you got your aircraft cleaning company, you got the coffee shop, you got this roast here, with the good A.G. Gaston on there.
A.G. Gaston, man.
You know, so we have those different things. How do you manage multiple businesses, right? And they're in 2 different industries. We're not talking about multiple businesses that are concerning aircrafts, or we got the coffee house or roast, and then we open up a 3rd, 4th location. We're talking about 2 businesses in 2 totally different sectors. How do you manage that?
Well, I guess for me, it's not that hard. And I was just telling the customer today, like literally today, I was like, yo, it says that I can do all things through Christ,
Come
right?
on, that word.
And I was just like, and for me as a person, I can't speak for nobody else. For me as a person, I don't put no and, but stipulations or anything. I feel that if I'm walking within my purpose, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? Now, yeah, I may lose some sleep. I may be tired, whatever. And I just text my wife this morning. I was like, yo, the exciting thing, I told her thank you. Because she's holding the house down right now.
Yes.
She's holding the
Shout out, wifey. We salute you. We honor you, queen, okay?
I love you. And so, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's holding the house down. And so, like, last night, I was at the airport getting it in. You know what I'm saying? And it'd be those nights. And literally, I had baseball practice with my son. And I had to drop him off and go back to work at my other company.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was like, oh, this temporarily, though. Now, I do have 2 employees at the airport. You see what I'm saying? They working right now. But it's sometimes that I need to take over and do something myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I can pay them for this, or I can just do this and not have to worry about paying them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially a small job. So what they working on today is I prepped the plane for them to polish. So polishing it is the exact same thing that you would do on a car. You just need to be knowledgeable about what's on that airplane.
Gotcha.
You got aviation approved products and all that other good stuff. So, and then the people who I work with, they also been in the field in aviation for a while. Daniel graduated from Texas A&M in aviation management also. And so he's a pilot, you know what I'm saying? So he's knowledgeable about airplanes, which makes me feel comfortable. It's like, hey, here's a buffer. Buff on this $1 million airplane.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
right.
Okay, so, you know, I know I'm getting all off topic and stuff like that. So, but
good. I think it's important because, again, I think for me, even before having this conversation with you, I didn't even think about that as being something that you could get into. You know, and so there's so many industries and there's so many opportunities for us to start businesses. And a lot of times we're only exposed to certain industries. So it's like, okay, we got beauty.
exposure.
We got beauty, we got food, we got entertainment. But sometimes we don't realize you can have a company servicing aircrafts. And I mean, there's millions of planes that are flying the skies every day.
Every day.
And these companies, they don't have the capacity to do all of this. So they much rather outsource.
Come on now.
You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
But we don't know that.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know that that's even an option. So, no, it's not off topic because I think it gets people's minds spinning. And it's really an opportunity. Like, look at different industries and think about the behind the scenes that it requires to do that. So, like, you know, I'm also very much into music, creative arts, all of that. And I try to tell people all the time, like, there's more to the industry than just being an artist. Right? There are agents. There's when you look, and this is my favorite thing to do. It's such a geeky thing. When I go watch movies, I love watching the credits. There are hundreds of people. You ain't seen their face. You don't know their names. But that's how many people it took to bring that out. That's how many jobs and opportunities and businesses there are, right? So, like, really looking at industries and figuring out, okay, what are some different things I could get involved in? So I just think that's so interesting. So, okay, so you managing those things. You said, listen, y'all, It's by the grace of God. Okay? You know what I'm saying?
It is. But at the same time, it's keeping a balance. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm trying really, really hard to spend more time at the house. You know what I'm saying? And so I really got frustrated. I had an event. I'm just gonna keep it 100.
Listen, that's what we
I
like.
had an event at the coffee shop Saturday, this past Saturday. On the first, it was 2 events. The first one went great. Shout out to Alexia McCall and her associate.
Listen, I'm here for all your shout outs, okay?
So Alexia, she works for EXP Realtor.
Okay.
And so she did a first time home ownership at the coffee shop. And so my thing is coffee and community.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Black people, we need to understand that we need to start renting. It's okay to rent, but we need to get to a point that we owning these houses.
Prepare for ownership.
You know what I'm saying? So we building equity and generational wealth with these houses. Especially you in Woodlawn, I'm in Titusville. You're talking about property values going up in these neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? They're no longer the hood, it's the neighborhood now.
Which it should have always been, but that's another conversation for another day.
Yeah. So but that event, it went well. I had an event right after that one that a young man, I said young man, but he's about probably a little bit younger than me. But he has a fly idea, man. He does some vintage clothing and stuff like that, and
Don't be giving away his idea on this podcast. Let me tell his business.
But you right, because he has something, and I told him, I said, man, you got a niche here. And I had talked to him throughout frustration though. But I did tell him, I said, because he ended up bringing a partner for his pop-up.
Okay.
And I was like, yo, I didn't complain or whatever. I was just like, okay, hey, whatever. I mean, I released the space out. I'm going to go ahead and put it out on Front Street. 4 hours.
Okay.
4 hours.
Okay.
$75.
Don't tell people that. First of all, he is no competition to us. Okay, go ahead.
$75. The modern house. You know what I'm saying? Like, how cheap is that? You know what I'm saying?
That's beyond anything I've ever
heard. 4 hours.
That's gangster.
Like, I'm like, yo, I already had an event. I made my money over here. I'm open to the public. My guy, you doing your thing. Come on through. You know what I'm saying? Opportunity. So like I said, he brought this other guy in. They come through, woo, 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 whatever. It was good. And so, they start coming in late. Around 2:30. Now, they had from 12 to 4. Around 2:30, I see somebody getting food out the car.
Oh, so everybody said a whole nother setup.
Whole
nother setup.
So
he might hear this, so you better watch yourself.
So man, I'm all good with that. So they frying chicken and stuff, not having a good old time. He had a hookah, and I was like, yo.
So they turned up. They had a lounge, baby.
Can I bring it in sauce? Like, no. You can keep it out there on the deck.
Right.
So that was cool. I mean, I enjoyed them. I really did.
Yes.
Here's what I didn't enjoy.
What did you not enjoy?
You taking away the time from my family. I did not enjoy that at all. Because that put me up here.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? Because if I already gave you a deal, I gave you something for you to make money off of. People came through buying stuff. And they stuff went cheap. You know what I'm saying? I could have charged you more money to do this.
Yeah.
But I'm helping you, putting you on. Then they wanted to do it quarterly. I said, bet, let's do it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, better that.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hey, we're going to make another calendar, put it in there, let's go. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like, well, we just started cooking chicken. Who fault is that?
Yeah.
What that has to do with me? Well, that grease hot. What that got to do with me? You knew we had a specific time. You know what I'm saying? And so at 4:00, I needed to be gone.
Yeah.
I ain't leaving till about 4:50. So they end up leaving around about 4:40. And then the lady asked me for 20 more minutes to cool the grease off. I said, no, it's time to go.
Yeah.
And then they got mad at me.
So let me ask you a question. Because I think there's this very fine line that we walk when we start our businesses, especially those of us, culturally, sometimes we have a tendency to always start with a nonprofit before we start with an LLC. We know that's not your trajectory. However, I think sometimes we have a desire to really help and support, but it's not an offer that nurtures or serves us. So then at that point, even with a lower price point, are we really helping? And so I think that's the question, because sometimes we have and this is not the conversation, right, with you per se, but this is a general conversation. We have a challenge with charging people what they need to pay. When we charge people a certain amount, it comes with a certain mentality.
There you go.
If you pay $500 to be here, and I say that after the hour, it's an extra $185.
Come on now.
You're going to come in on time.
Come on now.
You're going to leave on time.
Come on now.
So I think there's an opportunity as well when we're starting these bits. Stop lowballing ourselves.
Yeah.
Charge what needs to be charged, because nobody walks in a Louis Vuitton like where the sales. They know ain't the sales section.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You act accordingly. So our prices also, it signifies how people behave.
Right. It does.
You know what I mean?
And you hitting it all the way.
And your time is valuable. You can't ever get that back. You said, listen, I have multiple businesses. I'm a husband and I'm a father, and it is important for me to be there. So if I'm going to be playing around with anybody, it at least need to make sense.
It got to make sense. It got to make some money too. You know what I'm saying? Which means money, yeah.
Yes, you know what I mean?
Most definitely.
So I think there's opportunity for us to even challenge ourselves in our business to look at our price points. Because sometimes we do it, and I don't want to do it. So at that point, if I'm saying that I'm doing it to help people, but I'm pissed off the whole time.
Right, yeah.
I might need to reevaluate. Am I helping?
Yeah, everything you saying is 100% correct. I've already changed everything about events.
It's done.
Everything.
Even
with security, it's done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It just took that one time. Because the last thing I said, I got too much good publicity for this modern house right now. It's building a brand right now. You know what I'm saying? It's still in that stage of, I don't need you because you upset because you couldn't get your chicken wings going. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, we're not going to do that again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you're going to have to pay this right now if you want to rent this out now.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to pay for security.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's just how you do business. And it was just, for me, you know, it was like, it was really trying to do a solid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, nope, I learned no solids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And even if you're not doing it, doesn't mean you're still not helping. Because what I'm also doing for you is I am requiring another level for you. I'm upping the standard for what it looks like, because you also operate a business.
Yeah.
So I want your customers to come into your event, and I want them to know it's going to start on time.
Because see, and that was the thing that I was telling my customer today, right? I said, because you did a pop-up and you posted out there for the public to see, right? Now you selling urban wear. Urban wear is no longer for Black people. You go to Memory Lane. Shout out to Memory Lane.
Shout out, he's gonna be on the podcast in March. Shout out.
Who goes and shop at Memory Lane?
Everybody.
White, Black, Japanese, Chinese, Asian, Hispanic. Urban wear is no longer for just Black folks. Like, people want to be fresh.
Yeah, it's never really been, but you know.
So and it's like, yo, people could have seen this, came through and seen your whole vibe, your whole setup, all this other stuff. And it's like, they could have turned them completely off. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? It could have turned them off. But instead of you being professional, going, you know what I'm saying, doing things the right way, your venue is lit. I know the venue lit. Yeah. It's my venue. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Everybody who posts in Tag Modern House, they talk about the venue. Yeah. They love it. They love the vibes. So the venue is good. You got it for a great price. Now you selling your merch. But you just unprofessional.
Yeah. And so again, when you increase the price, when you require a certain standard from your customer, it then forces them to also come at a certain standard as well. You know what I mean?
And also partnerships too. Because see, that was another thing that I did talk to the guy. And so I ain't saying no names. But I did talk to him. I said, I'm not sure, you know, how you related to this person or whatever, what type of business relationship this is. I don't know. I don't too much care. I said, but here's the thing. He now stopped you from coming here again and selling your merch. Because I can't have it no more. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he's like, yeah, I understand. I said, so I feel like you got something great going on, but you may want to look and see if that's the type of stuff you want to be a part of. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it can hinder you within your growth. All partnerships that I did, I have people all the time still want to do stuff. And it's just like, if I don't get that unction from the Holy Spirit and I feel that vibe is right, I ain't doing it. Yeah. And even some partnerships that I did have, I had to let them go. Right. Hey, I seen what you doing over there, man. Oh.
My God, today, I want to get to it, but I'm going to mind my business. But, I think it's important, like you said, knowing when to start a partnership and end a partnership and knowing what works and what doesn't work. And whoever you're connecting yourself to, is it taking you higher or is it hindering you? I've been connected to some business relationships, and until that partnership ended, people came to me and was like, "Oh, I'm so glad you started working with them." Because I wasn't going to work. I'm like, why you ain't saying nothing? But people not, because they like, that's your business.
Right.
Because whoever you choose to associate with in public, you're telling me that that's what you believe. It's not my responsibility to tell you what's going on.
It's not.
It's your responsibility to vet who you're partnering yourself with and who you're walking on your journey with. Because whoever you connected to, just like with a spouse or friends, I associate you with that. That's it. You made that decision, so just being mindful in those partnerships. So, okay. This is one of the last questions I have is, so on this journey, there's been so much. You have so much more to go. Super excited about this roast that you are releasing. I'm personally excited about it. I think it's dope. So tell us about this real quick before I ask you this. Tell us about the roast. What made you choose this bag, this person, and kind of how you came about deciding, like, okay, aviation, coffee shop, a roast. Like, how did you get there?
So aviation and coffee will merge soon. Okay. Right. So when we think about aviation, especially private aviation, people don't really think about within these jets, they have a galley area that they carry coffee. They brewing coffee, they putting coffee in every single trip. You see what I'm saying?
Got you.
Oh, so they need coffee beans to grind, put into, you know what I'm saying? Into the brewer. Brew the coffee, put it in. They put it in this little box or whatever. It's a little metal box, and they put it in an airplane, and the passengers, they get their coffee from there. So pretty soon, I've already talked to some of these people. I'm like, hey, yo, we need to get rid of this coffee company that's all with us. Coffee company that's all with us. You know what I'm saying? And we need to start selling, producing modern coffee. And so yeah, I'm just working on all my relationships. I'm just tagging in on, hey, yo, come on, let's do something.
I love that. I love that. First of all, that's fine, and I love that you already started running the play. But then too, like you were saying, is leveraging those relationships. So I have to go back a little bit, because I was like, hey, it's two totally different fields. It is, but even in your mind, with being strategic, you figured out how to merge those two worlds. So I think another thing for us to think about when we're thinking about being a small business owner or entrepreneur, keep your eyes open for opportunities, right? Like, look for the innovation, look where you can place yourself, and then go where you have relationships.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because so for the average person trying to get one, they don't even think about putting their coffee on planes. But like, you went where your relationships are. I don't have to knock the door down.
Right.
I know Fred. Not Fred.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, go on, move that bag out the way, Fred. Yeah, you said y'all need 1,000. I'm on the way. Right? And so you went and you leveraged where your relationships currently existed. Most of the time, we trying to get to the people that ain't stunning us. We trying to knock down the doors and the emails and the phone numbers of the people who are not worried about us. But it's look at your surroundings. Where are your relationships, and leverage those. Right? So that's fire. So I'm gonna leave that with me over there. You're supposed to be with coffee anyway, but I'm not upset.
Hey, you know what? Yo, I came in late. This is what you do when you show up late.
Give me this line anyway.
You give gifts. You know what I'm saying? You give gifts.
This is so fun.
So I was just like, yo, hey, look at these coffee bags out of here, man.
This is amazing. And the cool thing about this, A.G. Gaston is, we're located here in Birmingham. He is not only like a Birmingham legend, pioneer, icon. I mean, really, it's national, right? But here within this city, he was a trailblazer. He was a serial entrepreneur that changed the financial trajectory of not only his life, but so many people in Birmingham that still feel it to this day. You talking about the A.G. Gaston Motel. We talking about A.G. Gaston Boys and Girls Club. We talking about business schools. We talk about the radio station, the funeral home. We talk about insurance. This is an entrepreneurial pioneer. So I think you being who you are and starting a roast and honoring him, I think that's amazing. So kudos to you for even having the vision to do that. The last question I was going to ask you is, as an entrepreneur, what area are you still growing in? Like, I'm still Is it my time management? Is it the I'm still learning about finance? Am I still getting the finances together, or I'm learning about systems? Because I want people to be encouraged. Because sometimes you feel like, okay, in order to do this thing, I got to be the full package. I got to know this.
Oh man.
But most of the people that you see who are doing things, we all like, oh my God, today.
Yo, so I was talking to my sister and my cousin, and we was talking about business. And I was just encouraging them because they got some things that they want to do. I say, yo, this is what I do, right? Once I've been given the play, I see it and I know what to do. I take off running. You know what I'm saying? I take off running, and then I take off running. I'm building, educating myself. So boom. All right, I needed to know that. Okay, I'm still running. You see what I'm saying? Okay, I need to know this now. I got this now. I know that and this, but I'm still moving forward. You see what I'm saying? And so it's not. Don't just sit still, trying to build something. Get out and start doing something. Start looking at different, locations. Start looking at, start building relationships. Without me building a relationship with the community foundation, they wouldn't have done what they did for the modern house. You just have to be uncomfortable for a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's really really how you gonna make it. And building relationships and partnerships, knowing that you will not do anything by yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you do, you're not gonna go very far. So Modern Coffee, right? That's our roasting company. It's not even incorporated yet. And it's not incorporated yet because the people that I've touched and called up and said, yo, this is what you good at. You good and you connected with this person in the city.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
I need you to be on a team. What you think about having some ownership in this company? My roaster, hey, such and such. Yo, what you think about having ownership of this company? You do my roasting. I need you to work hard. Not just for me, but for you.
Yeah.
And let's see how big we can grow this thing. You know what I'm saying? My marketing person, you want to tell some stories and all that stuff. How can I help you help me?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I told everybody, we have meetings and stuff. I said, yo, only thing I request is I have that 1% over everybody else. I want controlling power over the company. Everything else, we have something here. We built it. Now let's go ahead and let's put it in the targets. Let's put it in this here. Let's put it in the Walmarts.
I agree.
Because, why not? And, I passed them MK. We teaching on
We go to the
limitless.
same church.
You know that.
I ain't know what the same church.
You didn't know we going to the same church.
Man, I ain't know go to the same church. Man, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. You see,
Same
you know I lead praise and worship. You see me say,
I see her all the time up there, man. You know what I'm saying? All the time. Man.
Yeah, okay, so we here. Limitless.
Limitless,
Amen.
man.
Amen. Come on, man. Speak that thing.
Speak that thing. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to MK.
Shots out. That's my brother. Love him.
That's what's up, man. That's super dope. Really just, and that's been my thing too. Anytime I have an idea, I'm not I don't care. I don't have to know nothing. I just need to have to feel in me that this is what I'm supposed to do. When I first opened Polaris, right? I had no clue what it took to have a physical location. But I seen a building in my neighborhood, so I called and said, I need to tour that building. And as he was talking, I was taking, I'm like, you said, what kind of insurance? I need to have liability. You know what I mean? I just start,
right.
I called, and let me tell you something. I came.
Yo, listen, folks. Come on, man. Come on.
I came to this building 4 times before. I was like, hey, I need to bring in my person. People was measuring stuff. They had no money.
Now, come on, man. Let's go. Shoot, we don't need no money. We start off at zero. Man.
Let's
We don't need no money. I didn't have no money.
Listen,
come on, man.
All I need is a word from God. And I need the passion. Like, one thing I tell God all the time is, God, you can trust me. He gives us all ideas, but I truly believe my daddy, my father, he knows he could trust me with the idea.
Come on.
So I had no, I'm talking about, I came here 4 times. I had an interior designer in here, a contractor in here, ain't putting no money down. Ain't know where I was getting the money from. I was like, but let me tell you something. I need to have a vision. I had somebody come in to do a complete 4D, 3D render in this building.
Yeah.
That man was like, well, when you gonna sign the lease? I said, well, when you gonna mind your business? You know what I'm saying? Is you gonna open the door or what? You got one job.
Right.
Open the door.
Open the door. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Don't
And
worry about none of
I'm
that.
coming through, and I'm casting vision. I
Yeah.
talk to the community foundation. I talk to all these different people. I'm casting vision because I know that I'm gonna do it.
Right. That's
I
right.
ain't never did it, but what
Yeah.
can I do?
Man, I can do all things.
You know what I mean? And so I think to your point when we talk about if you have an idea, like stop sitting on it. Nothing's gonna happen with it in your head. You ain't gotta know it all.
Yeah.
You don't have to have all the skill because guess what? I am a genius, but I don't know it all.
Yeah.
But I do believe he's gonna send
People.
laborers. He's gonna send skilled people who are willing to help me fulfill the vision. And to your point, when you're looking for partnerships, stop looking to use people.
Right.
It's not about you. Figure how can I serve you? What do you want to do?
Right.
What are you trying to accomplish? That's what a true partnership is.
Yeah.
And people will come alongside you and support the vision because you actually care about them.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But whether you have it or not, they ain't got nothing to do with
They
it.
ain't got nothing to do with it.
Nothing.
No.
And that's the difference between those who start and those who don't.
Right.
I started.
Yeah. Yo, I mean, we sitting in this dope spot, man. Doing a podcast live, all that good stuff. Didn't start with no money.
None.
Let's go, man.
You know what I'm saying? But I knew, you know me, even like when I started trying to raise money, I had to write a grant. It was my first time ever writing a grant in my life.
Yours too?
Shout out the Community Foundation in Birmingham. Listen.
Hey, they don't talk. They be about it.
And I ain't gonna lie. And again, shout out to Zandra because she was extremely supportive, right?
Yeah.
Never wrote a grant in my life.
Right.
Same 25K.
Oh, come on, man.
Come on.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
And it was like, okay, run the play.
Let's go. Yeah.
More money.
Right, yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, I wrote that. I was like, it's gonna take me $100,000+. Like, where you gonna get that money from?
Yeah.
I don't care though.
Right.
Somebody gonna give it to me. Somebody got it.
Money.
Somebody's gonna give it to me.
Yeah.
And when I sit here now, I be like, bro, how did you do this?
So was yours debt free too?
A little bit, maybe.
Okay.
Not all the way.
Okay.
But the first half was.
Mine was completely debt free.
Okay, you ain't gotta sit on me like that, Troy.
But it's not. But people, I just want people to get encouraged. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, we started out with zero. It's the same thing. I told my sister again. I said, and you know what? I think I put it on Facebook too. So if people follow me on Facebook, whatever. I said, all my ideas came with zero. I started with zero. Started with aircraft cleaning solution, 0. Just like, oh, okay, go 0. Modern house now, 0. Modern coffee. Now I was able to leverage modern coffee because I have aircraft cleaning solutions.
Yes.
See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I was like, okay, let me throw some money over here. Let me start roasting. This guy already has all the equipment, everything. All I need to do is get the bags.
Yep.
And purchase some green beans. Joe, I'm not gonna say his name. Yo,
literally just said his name.
You say it. You don't know who he is.
Joe George.
Where can we find an importer at? You know what I'm saying? Who has green beans? You know what I'm saying? And they had those green beans for him to roast them. Oh, so we can go from here. Those are our options. This is how much it's gonna cost. Okay, let's do it. I want that one there. Grade. This grade here, coffee bean. I want this grade coffee bean in my shop. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted this one, you know what I'm saying, at this price point. Let's order it. Just that simple. It wasn't hard at all.
But the thing is, you had the idea and then you went to just go find the information. And I think most of the time with us, once we put our foot on the gas, we'll realize it's not as hard as we think it is. I talk to a lot of people and they're like, oh my God, how did you get a building?
Yeah.
I called the number that was on the building.
That's what you did too?
I called the number.
That's all I did too.
And I said, let me up in there, boy.
Yeah.
What y'all over here doing?
Right.
How much it costs?
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
and I
all you
figured
do.
out a plan to, okay, how do I get here? And then you have to be willing to take a risk.
Yeah.
Because when you start calculating that overhead, my God, today, you don't know how you're going to get that money, huh?
You don't.
But you believe in yourself enough to know that if I put my mind in something, if I'm committed to something, I'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
And I think that is one of the most important characteristics you can have as a doer and as an entrepreneur is I will figure it out.
That's right.
If you're not willing to do that in your own dreams, I highly doubt you're doing that in your own life.
That's right. Yeah.
So you have a lot of people who are very, very unhappy with where they are.
Yeah.
But it's because you're not even willing to do what it takes for your own life.
Right.
So you may not be a good entrepreneur.
Right.
And that's okay, because
that's
entrepreneurship is not for everybody.
It ain't for the
because you have to be willing to take a risk and to go at it by yourself.
And go
the people in my life,
how did you start it with who?
With the Lord.
Yourself,
myself.
your husband.
Yeah.
That's it.
But even with all the love, and this is a whole nother episode when we talk about being an entrepreneur and having spouses, right? Because even with all the love in his heart, and we've had this conversation privately, he was like, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they love you.
Right.
They want to protect you. I was like, bro, I don't care what you say.
Right.
I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that support.
Right.
I know you love me. I know you want to make sure I'm making the best decision. I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to be willing to take that risk and bet on yourself. You know what I said? This ain't my story.
That's E.T. there, man.
Listen.
That's Eric Thomas there. Bet on yourself.
Bet on myself.
You owe you.
You owe you. On me. You know what I'm saying? And listen, this ain't gonna be my story, but the way I rationalize it in my mind, I was like, listen, Alicia, you get this building, you put all this money into this furniture, you start and say you can't pay it. What you gonna do? I'm gonna file for bankruptcy and I'm gonna start over. You know
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not gonna die.
Right, yeah.
It be feeling like life or death to make the decisions that are important to change the trajectory of your life. I'm not going to die.
Yo.
Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna fail, and I don't even consider it a failure. I'm gonna get back up, baby.
Yo.
Like, listen, I'm gonna file for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give me a new alias.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna die.
Right.
But I will die if I continue to live a life that is not fulfilled. And you have people who are dying slowly, slow deaths, and they get to the end of their lives sad and dissatisfied because they were not willing to at least try. If it ain't gonna kill me, I'ma do it. Period.
Yeah.
That's on that. If I gotta go by myself, that's cool too.
I don't need nobody.
We need people.
I mean, for us, we do need people.
We need people.
But for me to start,
But for me to start,
I can start by myself.
And that's most people don't want to start by themselves.
Yeah. I don't need nobody, hey man, like you said, your husband. You're just like, man, yo, I'm about to make it happen, Captain.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying? I don't need it. Once I got it, that's what I'm saying. Like, I had it. I knew it. You see what I'm saying? It was it, right? Okay. Yeah, all right. That's all I needed.
All I needed is a knowing.
Yeah.
And most people are not willing to. I had another lady I listened to one time. She's kind of one of my little Instagram mentors. And she was talking about having to buy a bigger house. And she was nervous about it. It was a $600,000 house. She had never spent that much on a home before. And she was talking to her therapist. Her therapist was like, well, she was telling her therapist, what if I can't afford it? Because she's a business owner. What if I get to a place in my business and I can't afford it? Her therapist was like, guess what you do? Sell the house. And go get another one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Get one you can't afford.
Right.
Most of the time, we're looking at decisions as though it is the
life
or death.
Yeah.
Nothing is the end of the world except for the end of the world.
Yo, so, I'm okay. My wife, she more like, why you telling our business? That's not. And I am okay with talking to people because I feel like I'm helping people out.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we moved. We lived in Clay for 6 years. We took that money, invested in Bush Hills, right? Bush Hills is a great neighborhood that's popping off left and right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, for sure.
Very similar to here. And y'all more established over here though. but Bush Hills is working its way on up.
Yeah.
But we bought that house, we paid this amount for it, right? We went in and we put this in, we updated the electrical, the plumbing, HVAC, new everything. Beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And so instead of an investor doing it, we're investors. We bought a house, we invested in it, and we're going to put our own money in it.
Yes.
And so now I'm like, hey, babe, I think we need to go on sale right now. You know what I'm saying? Interest rates is up. We may have to do a little negotiation and stuff.
Yeah.
We may not. I think we was looking more around 330, 340 before. Now I'm thinking about 310, 315. Okay. Well, guess what? Hey, we'll walk away by 140.
That may sound like me.
You see what I'm saying? And I'm okay with, like, there's not a lot of inventory right now.
No, it's not.
It's not. But I'm okay with downsizing for a little bit. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pay cash for that house now.
Yeah.
You see it?
Mm-hmm.
Do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Do it in a neighborhood that you know is being revitalized. So now I got a house. Well, we have a house
Mm-hmm.
paid off. Is in an area that's revitalizing.
Yes.
Let's see what the market do now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we could still go finance a house.
Mm-hmm. Because you got something clear and free.
Clear and free. You see what I'm saying? So
That's what it is.
yeah, we can finance us a house. We can still do that. But let's do it if something weird happens to the market. What people say, you know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make sure too that you keep your ear and your eyes on what's going on in the market and be serious about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it's like, if something does happen, if we want to move or whatever, we may get a better deal.
Yeah.
Because we put ourselves in that situation.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now I got, and I paid. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when that market come back around, I said, you know what? You can sell it for this again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's just, everything you do is a business move. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
But taking that money and probably starting another location.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe.
I mean,
over here, I don't know. No.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. You'll say too much. Hush. So listen, I enjoyed our conversation, Troy. We locked in now.
Yeah.
You came here too cool for school, sunglasses on, your shirt, you know what I mean, your coffee bag.
You told me be photo shoot ready. Right?
I did.
And I was just like, man, hey, she for real about this thing? Let me make sure I'm looking good.
Listen,
I got my Ray-Bans on.
Listen, you came.
My LA Dodgers hat,
You came in correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct. I enjoyed our conversation. Thank you so much for coming.
I appreciate you.
For being a part and being a guest on the How Do I Do This podcast.
Yeah.
Again, the reason we have this is because people really want to know how do they do it.
Mm-hmm.
And we are in a time and place where people are trying to figure out what their next is. The economy isn't serving them. The job market is not serving them. And we are living in a time where literally God is waiting for us to do the things he's called us to do. Because, so we want to make sure that we have conversations that are fruitful, productive, and tangible, So just thank you for being a part of this. I enjoyed our conversation. And make sure, y'all, where can people buy? Can they buy this online?
Yeah, they can buy it on our website. Go to www.coffeeand, it's spelled out A-N-D, community.com. Coffee and community.
Okay, is the coffee spelled with a C or a K, brother?
C.
Okay, you know how we do sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you got to put a K on it.
Okay. So
actually now we down to 800 bags.
Okay, so, congratulations. You started with what, 900?
No, we started with 1,000.
Don't play with me. Yeah, you started with 1,000. He said, don't play with me.
Yeah,
don't play with me.
We started with 1,000. We down to 800.
Okay.
We selling probably about 30 a day in the store.
I love that.
So, awesome. I mean, they flying out. People like it, And then and here's another thing, too, about this. That, and honestly, I just wanted to honor him, you know what I'm saying, and for Black History Month. And that's what this whole thing came about. And it was like one of those things during the civil rights. People don't really think about A.G. Gaston.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
Like, they don't. And so people come in and I'm educating them now. And they like, really? I'm like, yep.
Yep. Right here.
Right here.
Right here.
And here's another thing too, man. I text our pastor.
I just found out today. That's a mess.
So I text our pastor and I was like, yo. So when and here's another thing too. We need to know what our industry is worth. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, I didn't know that I knew coffee was going to help people, and I'm all about helping people.
Yeah.
But I didn't know I had a space in coffee until I really dug in it, and I was like, oh God, this for me too, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, thank you. And so that's why, I looked at it, and coffee is like a $500 billion industry.
500 billion.
Comes from Africa, Ethiopia, Guatemala, you know what I'm saying? Brazil, all these places of colored people, and only 1% goes back to them.
Wow. So
people of color and Black people has no space in coffee. You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing.
And you're talking about a $500 billion industry. And so I said, man, I know my character. I ain't perfect at all. But I know if Dr. A.G. Gaston he was the first millionaire back then, that's $1 billion in today's industry.
Yes. Yes.
What could I do God's kingdom with $1 billion.
They about to turn this thing upside down. What you talking about?
If he did it back in his day, so I'm just putting it on that he made $1 billion today. That's
Yes.
the way I see it.
Yes.
He made $1 billion today doing what he did.
Yeah.
Coffee industry is worth $500 billion. I can't tap into some of that.
For sure.
Come on, man.
For sure.
Let's go.
You playing, so I'm just putting out there for the record. I'm about to start me a roast. And
Let's
Troy,
go.
And Troy's gonna help me.
Yeah,
and if he don't, we gonna call him a hater. Okay. No, for real. Like, go put your toe in the water. Yeah, no, real talk. No, knowing how much the industry is worth. And yeah, all of that. When you think about coffee, you think about the health industry, all these different things. You know what I mean? You just get a small piece, you can make a huge impact.
A huge impact.
So,
what could we do? I already got ideas.
Yeah, I know you do.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
I already got ideas.
I know it.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate this conversation. Yeah. Make sure y'all go on coffee and spell all the way out community.com. Yeah. Order your modern coffee roast. AG Gaston. We talking about launching this board during Black History Month. We're not playing games. Troy, again, thank you so much for this conversation. So much, I appreciate it. And yeah, we're gonna be doing some stuff together.
Let's go, y'all.
Gang. Okay.